Hi, it's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another video edition of Widower Wednesday. I'm Abel Keogh, author of the book Dating a Widower, and today we are going to discuss what you do when the widower tells you that you're being insecure. The idea for this video comes from a viewer who wrote this email that I'm sharing with permission, but I think it could have been written by just about any one of you, and this is how the email goes. It says, "Dear Abel, I followed your advice and let the widower know I feel uncomfortable in his home due to photos of the late wife everywhere. He says I'm being insecure. Am I? Short answer is no, you are not being insecure. A second is that I absolutely hate this answer. And I hate this answer because it's a lousy cop-out from someone who has done or said something questionable and wants to avoid responsibility and discussion. So no, you're not being insecure. The issue is on the widower, and why is he throwing it back on you and not willing to have a conversation? And I would add that everyone who has ever dated a widower at some point has, and I'm not going to call it insecure, but you want to have this thing where it's like, I want to be number one. And everybody, I think, has felt like number two, where they're competing with a ghost at some point. And that, I think, is normal. The issue is how do you get over that, or what are things that the widower can do to show you that he's ready to open his heart and move on? And when the widower throws out the whole cop-out that you're being insecure because there's photos on the wall, or because I talk about my late wife all the time, he's completely avoiding responsibility for anything that he's doing or not doing. The issue is he's trying to pin it all on you, and that is absolutely wrong. Now, I want you to kind of maybe take a step back here. This is something I always preach and talk about on this show, is that you should expect the same behavior from the widower as you would a single or divorced man. So ask yourself, how would you respond, say you were dating somebody who was still pining after his ex-wife, or maybe had a failed relationship with a girlfriend, and you could tell they were still pining after her, and he came back to you and said, well, you're just being insecure. I mean, how would you respond to that? Would you just say, oh, I am being insecure? Or would you say, maybe you're not ready to open your heart? Or again, go back, say like you're walking with, your boyfriend, whatever, down a beach or something, and some really hot babe kind of walks by, and you can tell that he's tracking her and looking at her, and you kind of call him out on it, and he looked at you and said, oh, you're being insecure. What would your reaction be? Would it be like, oh, maybe I am being insecure? Or would it be, you know what, maybe you're kind of, visually cheating here and you're being really obvious about it? So again, expect the same behavior from him as you would anybody else. Don't let your empathy for his situation get in the way. Again, the issue isn't that you're feeling insecure. The issue is why isn't he willing to make changes? Why isn't he willing to open his heart? Because what really should happen is, if you bring up these issues, again, I understand that these can be hard conversations. I know that Julie and I had a lot of hard conversations, and sometimes after we had these conversations, I was internally a little bit ticked at Julie, because I was like, you don't get it. That's just kind of my internal thing. I never thought she was being insecure, by the way, but I was just like, you don't understand, I lost my wife kind of thing. I kind of get that response, but the correct response isn't you're being insecure. The correct response is to start having a discussion about this, why you feel that way, why the photos are up. And if he's not willing to entertain that, or he's not willing to have a discussion, he is not ready to open his heart. And at that point, if he's going to throw it all back on you and not have a discussion, you really need to reconsider the relationship. In fact, I would strongly suggest that you get out of the relationship, because if he's going to throw it all back on you, this is just the first of many issues that you're going to encounter, and you're in for a long, painful relationship that's going to internally and emotionally destroy you, because you're going to feel like you're not good enough. And especially like when you have the sainted late wife out there, because we all know the late wife is perfect and never did anything wrong, right? That's kind of how it's presented. So again, he's not willing to make changes. He's not willing to do things, and he's going to throw it back on you. He's not ready to open his heart. Get out of that relationship as fast as possible. Now, for widowers who are watching this and might be kind of ticked off of what I'm saying right now, maybe take a moment and self-reflect as to why she's feeling this way. Why is she having these concerns? Because the issue here isn't that you need to stop loving the late wife. If someone's asking you to take pictures down, or someone's asking you to maybe talk about her in more relevant moments or things like that, whatever the issue isn't that people are asking you to stop loving the late wife. The issue is they want you to open your heart enough that they can feel like number one. No one's going to stop you from loving the late wife, and she should have a special place in your heart. But if you're dating again and looking for a relationship, why is it that you are expecting a woman to come in and just plop into your life? And why is it that the fact that there's photos on the wall, that you're blaming that on her insecurities and not having a moment of self-reflection here to say, maybe I can see why she'd be feeling that way. How would it be to walk into somebody's house that you're dating, that you maybe have feelings for, and seeing their profound love for somebody else? Can you just maybe have just a moment to say, oh, I can kind of get that. Because if you're going to default, and I know that this is a popular thing in the widower groups online, these come up, and widowers like, well, she's insecure, you shouldn't be dating someone that's insecure. No, the issue isn't insecurity here. The issue is she's asking to be number one in your heart. She wants to feel comfortable coming into your house. She wants to be comfortable being part of your life. And if you want somebody, I guess, that's okay with pictures on the wall or whatever, and just someone to plop in, maybe find a widow or somebody like that who gets it, so to speak, right? But you shouldn't just expect a non-widowed person to come in and just be okay with things. You want a new life, you got to open your heart, and there's a price you have to pay for that. And if taking down the photos is too high of a price, you're probably not ready to open your heart. Just going to be completely honest about that. So, ladies, you're not being insecure. Again, he's going to throw the "you're being insecure" excuse back at you. He's not ready for a relationship. Really strongly suggest taking a step back from that relationship. Give him the gift of missing you and find someone who can open his heart and make you number one, because you deserve it. I'm Abel Keogh, author of the book Dating a Widower. Feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. Leave your comment, or horror stories in this case. Feel free to leave those below if you feel like sharing those. If you want to schedule a coaching session, there's a link down in the description where you can do that as well. And I will see you all next Wednesday.